Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have Constantine Gray. We'll be discussing his fantastic book, Holier Than Thou, available for purchase through Amazon, barnesandnoble.com. But if you guys want to get everything that Constantine has to offer, do yourself a favor and head directly to his personal site. That's ConstantineGray.com. Now there, you'll find more information on Constantine himself, more information on this fantastic narrative, as well as find hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing page. So one more time, that's ConstantineGray.com. And guys, I will say that Constantine was brought to our network today by some of the best movers in the business. Link Print and Media Publishing. So if you have a book that you'd like moved, do yourself a favor and contact Link. You can find out more information on them at urlinkpublishing.com. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Constantine, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you so much for being a guest. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I wrote this book because of a number of things that you said. That religion has gone overboard. Christianity, especially in the past, has done incredibly terrible things against humans. The Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, and the Roman Inquisition, took a lot of lives of innocent people. They were guilty. They were innocent on a secular basis, but they were guilty because they committed heresy against the church and its scriptures and its clergy. And some of them were burned alive as a result. Now that was in the past, and Christianity has cleaned up his act because there are laws against secular laws against what they used to do in the past. But Islam is now carrying the torch for this type of behavior. Many countries have heresy and blasphemy and apostasy, leaving the religion, as death penalties. And this still exists in this day and age. This is using coercion really to keep their followers within, because religion is very fragile. It's based on the supernatural. It's based on what people have written 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, and which just doesn't apply to today's civilization as we know it.
Constantine, I'm curious about the narrative itself. How is the book constructed? Talk to us about the way the book is developed.
Well, the way the book is developed, I go immediately to the legitimacy of the Abrahamic religions. They do break the law, and I point out by quoting the scriptures where they do break the law, and of the Western world, of course. But before that, I go into conditions precedent, and I go into how man evolved as from the various stages, from Homo erectus, Neanderthal, and Homo sapien, which is what we are, apparently. And I go through that stage where Homo sapien developed around 200,000 years ago in Africa. And he then, about 70,000 years ago, he migrated from Africa and spread himself throughout Eurasia and Australasia. Gradually, this all took many thousands of years to happen. But he's only been in existence for 200,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yet religion didn't start until about 4,000 years ago, suggesting that obviously there was somebody who thought that it would be good to have a religion, and I point out that it's probably the elite or the ruling class of that time that created the religion, which helped them govern and manage their territory or country, whatever it was at that time. So I spent a lot of time on that, talking about how man did develop. And it's really only after the advent of the agricultural revolution, also known as the Neolithic revolution, about 12,000 years ago, that man started agriculture, which created all sorts of situations where property then became valuable, and that man started, and he was developing for his sustenance agriculture, which included crops and cattle, and also giving him a supply of meat and dairy products. But what this did, it created this brought out the best and the worst of human beings, because property then had a value where it never did before, where he was wandering around in small tribes as hunter-gatherers. And this is where religion came in, because I think people realize one of the easiest ways to govern is to have the people self-govern by having a religion as the overseer. And this was probably instigated by the ruling class as a part of their mission. And also, the ruling class also took positions as semi-deities or full deities, and to give them further presence. And so there were a lot of half-gods going around when religion was being developed. All of this was created. It's not as if there was a message from up above that gave them the structure of how to form a religion. It was man forming a religion to be useful for his ability to govern. At least this is the way I see it.
Absolutely.
So I go on and I point out a number of the situations where religion itself is not a formula for morality. That the crime rate is higher in countries that are religious and less and lower in countries that are irreligious. And this is why I wrote the book, because my book is not long, because I didn't want to be verbose, but what is in it is very to the point. I also point out about, as I mentioned before, utilizing the religion with the death threat to keep people in the religion. There are many countries where apostasy is, in fact, the Quran says that apostasy, meaning you leave the religion, the person should be killed. This is in the hadith of the Quran, that a person who leaves the religion should be killed. And there are also countries with blasphemy laws still that state that anyone who commits blasphemy should be killed. Blasphemy meaning demeaning the religion in a critical manner, somewhat like what I'm doing here. But this isn't worldwide, but in certain countries it still exists. And in the past, Christianity, especially the church, the medieval church, which was the Catholic Church, utilized heresy and blasphemy to coerce people to stay in the religion, because they realized, first of all, religion became, from the start, was a very lucrative type of, if I may use the term, business. And because people would give annually to the coffers. And so I don't know, I think that evolved afterwards. I think the primary reason to create a religion was to self-govern the people so that they wouldn't, be easier to govern, and for the leaders to join themselves to that religion in some godly manner, usually in semi-god, or to make the followers of the religion, the common folk, fear them. So.
Absolutely. Constantine, you're making so much sense. I mean, there's so many great points. Now, my curiosity and my follow-up question to that is, we know about the history and the research that you've conducted and you found. Where do we go from here? I mean, what is the next step? Now that we've acknowledged an issue, how do we rectify it?
What I propose is that the scriptures be corrected, officially corrected, but not rewritten, because you can't do that in Islam, because that's the final word of God, according to the Islamists. But it is possible to use a method called a codicil, which is something when a person leaves their will and registers their will. If they wish to make subsequent changes to that will, they submit a codicil, which supersedes the content of their original will. I propose in the book a holy codicil. In other words, where we go through the scriptures and we get out the kill infidels and kill witches and homosexuals and just rid the books of it. I mean, this way religion can remain a positive thing. I don't think it will disappear. And what I'm trying to say is, make it clean it up. I call them a holy codicil, and it would go through all the bad parts of the scriptures and just either nullify them or reword them. And that's what I propose.
As we start to tie up this fantastic interview, Constantine, curious, what would you say was a highlight for you in writing the book? Or if not a highlight, maybe something that surprised you that you weren't expecting prior to embarking upon the journey?
Well, it's something, I've been thinking about this for quite a while. And there was nothing really surprising. The book is it's not very thick. So all I took down were the major things that concerned me about religion and have concerned me. And I started writing this book, believe it or not, over 3 years ago. I was somewhat hesitant because, they're going when writers, Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris, writers who criticize religion get death threats, and I was kind of hemming and hawing about whether to write it and put it down and get the threats afterwards. And I finally agreed, but that was over 3 years of writing a very short book, a book full of, there's not a wasted word in it.
Well, listen, Constantine, we're glad that you did, okay? Because, again, there's so much value to be gained within the book, and I truly mean it. Guys, you know what I love about this? Listen, we've now come to the end of the interview, and we've discussed so much, but yet we've barely scratched the surface. There's still so much left to be discovered. All of the intricacies below the surface level are still there to be discovered. The education is amazing. But listen, guys, knowledge is power. Okay? You can still be and believe what you choose to believe. No one is saying one thing or the other, but it's always good to be well-rounded, right? There's definitely nothing to lose by being open and being aware. Here on the line with Constantine Gray. We just finished discussing his fantastic book, Holier Than Thou, available for purchase through Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, or directly through his site, ConstantineGray.com. Let's grow, let's develop, let's educate ourselves, and it starts with this fantastic narrative. Constantine, this has been truly an honor. Thank you once again for being a guest with us today on People of Distinction.
Well, thank you for having me.